A very warm welcome, everyone. Welcome to the BrowserStack Fireside Chat event. So the title of this webinar is Elevating Test Automation with Faster Debugging and Modern Test Management. And that will be something which we'll be focusing today in today's call. And so in order to begin, we can have a quick introduction. So I'll just quickly introduce myself. My name is Yatin Satija. I work as a senior customer engineer at BrowserStack. It has been almost 2 years since I have joined BrowserStack and I've joined this role. And any technical concerns or any technical queries that you have, I'll be able to help you address those questions. We'll be sharing all the details in case if you want to contact me with any questions around BrowserStack, you can reach out to me over email and we'll be able to assist you over there. So on the call with me, we have Greg. Greg, if you can give a quick introduction, that would be.
Yes. Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, so as I said, I'm Greg. I am the Principal Software Quality Manager across Currys and its whole estate. Now, Currys is the leading electrical reseller in Europe for all white goods, electronic items, and everything. We have physical stores as well as an online presence. We have 2 e-com websites in the UK and Ireland, the main Currys e-commerce sites, as well as e-commerce in the Nordics, and 5 mobile e-commerce sites as well, including Carphone Warehouse, ID Mobile, E2 Save, mobiles to mobiles, to mention such a few. So quite a big real estate there.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Greg. Yeah, we'll be talking about what is the significance of a unified test platform and what is the role that test management plays in the software testing domain, and how important it is to measuring test automation metrics. We'll also be focusing upon, again, the importance of AI in the modern test management and test observability needs. And at the end, again, we'll be having a live Q&A session where we'll be taking up your questions. The first question for Greg is, Greg, if you can quickly let us know, how would you define the current test automation maturity at Currys?
Yes, no problem. So I found this actually a bit of a curveball. As I said earlier, we've got many different areas of Currys, and we've aligned all these areas that were siloed all into one. So in some areas, we were manual beginner and a bit advanced in some areas. So it was a complete melting pot of different levels of automation, which in some areas is great and some leaves a lot to be desired. So if I had to say anything, I would say we're automation beginner as a whole. I could talk for hours, but I won't go into too much detail, but we're taking learnings from both ends of the area there. But as a whole, as Currys now, where we're aligning our strategy, I put us definitely a beginner.
Awesome. So yeah, I think majority of the attendees we have on the call are also automation beginner only. So it will be pretty familiar to what we'll be talking today in this call, in this fireside chat event. Awesome. So yeah, thank you so much, Greg, for answering that question. And the next question, which I want to know is for an organization like Currys, where there are multiple applications being tested at such a great scale, right? So how having a single testing platform helps in meeting your overall QA goals and business objectives? If you can throw some light on that area.
Yeah. Yes. So as I alluded to earlier, previously, before the beginning of the year, we were ran as 5 different organizations, all with their own test tooling, with their own processes, all with their own paths to life, including testing, where testing came in, whether it was a bit reactive or a bit waterfall. Now, as you can imagine, we could not really gain metrics. We could not gain any sort of idea of how successful each area was without that common baseline and that common set of principles and processes along that. So by bringing BrowserStack in as a partner at the beginning of our alignment, we were basically able to use the same test management tools and import all the test cases and automation into the same place. We'd be able to dive into those sort of metrics and see basically where our holes are, where our wins were, where we were doing really well, but also it highlighted where we were failing massively for our customers, and we was able to pivot and refocus these areas which previously would have gone undiscovered for some time. Really not doing the best for our customers and driving them to our competitors, which is the last thing we want. So it was a really good way to focus our efforts. And again, one of the best things about it as well, it reduced those silos of knowledge. We could see where things were sort of missing a little bit, needed that little bit of support, and be able to pivot on there and be able to move the sort of structure to bring more emphasis in our weaker areas and strengthen them up and be able to move forward. And I'm not going to say the journey's easy, but without this test management tool, we'd still be stumbling around in the dark looking for the light switch, so to speak.
Got it. Yeah, that was really great to know about that part. So again, the next question which I have is also something on the similar lines only, and I think you've already talked a bit about the test management, the role of test management at BrowserStack. But yeah, like this next question is particularly from a test management standpoint. So we would like to know your thoughts on the importance of test management in your entire software testing process, right? And how, please go ahead.
So I gave this some thought. What I really like about the BrowserStack and the test management tool that we implemented it's not just it's used throughout the whole process, throughout the team to ensure quality, and that's what we really want to build into our teams here. It's not just the testers who are interested in test management, POs, stakeholders, and everyone. I want to see how testing's going. And with BrowserStack and the reporting and the overall arching area, our stakeholders, whether that's the COO wants to know how a big project's going, would be up to Black Friday, or whether it's a stakeholder or project itself, so they can see things in real time. They see the same information that we're seeing. Actually outside our organisation, and we're able to open up our BrowserStack and say, "Hey, look, this is how we're doing at the minute. Have you got any feedback for us?" And we're able to get that fast feedback, that fast fail, and feedback from them as well. So by using this common tooling across areas, everyone knows what they expect to look for, and everyone's seeing this. So for us, that's invaluable.
Awesome. So, Greg, just a quick suggestion. Like, I think your voice is flaky in between, not too much, but yeah, a little flaky. So yeah, I think video off would also work so that all the attendees can hear properly. So yeah, I think thank you so much, Greg, for answering that question. So yeah, I think the next question, which it's again on a similar lines, but yeah, it's again more about the personal opinion. If you can throw some light upon what were some of the factors that you considered while you thought of making the switch to the BrowserStack test management platform, and how did you go about consolidating multiple test management tools?
Yeah, so those of you who know about Carphone warehouse storage, we've been around for a long time, with 20 years plus in this industry. So we developed a plethora of test management tools. We've got the usual candidates in Jira, all the integrations and everything. And, we had BrowserStack as well. And it wasn't until, I'll be honest, we were looking to cut costs. We've got all these tools that we really thought, how do we do that? And whilst cost was a consideration, it definitely is, we had to really look at what we get and how that integrates in our future plans. Now, as you can imagine, all these test tools have been around for a long time. They know what they're doing. They do what they say on the tin. But with BrowserStack, what we found was the real device testing was invaluable, because as you can imagine, we've got all these different areas working all over the world. We want to make sure that we've got a consistent, approachable testing system on multiple devices. So we just don't want desktop, as we found out. Majority of our customers now are mobile based, so it's no good for us just testing on on our desktop, and the old adage, oh, it works on my machine, here's a screenshot. And again, I can go back to the last question. Everyone can see it. We can record the session. People can try it themselves. We have integrated BrowserStack with Jira now, where by default, just by pressing create defect, it gives us all the dimensions of the devices, what we're using, all this sort of thing that really helps us debug a lot quicker. And again, having our test cases, testing, automation, test observability, test management all in one place is so easy to standardize. You know, if it's some of the more legacy products to the ones that have been more established, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and badmouth them. I think they do a great job, but they are very, very quality aesthetic focused. Whilst we want to sort of bring that out and using tools like Percy and everything, the developers are really bought in, the stakeholders are bought in, the release managers buy and lead into their release documentation. We've even got the SREs now who are running the low automation testing. So, you know, from a company-wide thing, we're getting bang for our buck where cost is important, as it is for all organizations. When we sat down and realized that's why we went ahead and made BrowserStack our partner moving forward.
Awesome. Yeah. I think so the next question that I would like to know again, I think these were some of the features which were of some great interest as well, right? So again, I wanted to know your perspective on this, and the question goes like this: like, how do you see the adoption of AI in testing, like especially when we talk about the test management domain? If you can share.
So unfortunately, I'm a bit long in the tooth, and I've been around a long time. And I was very hesitant when I heard about the adoption of AI. I was not in favor of it at all. Now, since we have been using BrowserStack, again, what I'll say is that, you know, we're always going to use the human interaction to double check everything. But the amount of time it's cut down for us to be able to learn, to be able to see things quicker, where it takes a lot of the manual steps, the manual looking for patterns, the manual data analysis, all these things are just sped up. It doesn't take the human element out of it at all, which I was half expecting, and how often it's wrong. Yeah, you do have to check it, but what I found is it really frees up a lot of time, and nine times out of 10, it's spot on. So give it a look over, and you're pretty good to go. Again, I think it's a nice tool. It will never replace the human interaction, but as an assistant on a way to get that little bit of speed, a little bit of overarching wider view on things. AI, yeah, I can't fault it at all.
Awesome. So yeah, I think BrowserStack, at BrowserStack, again, we are working on, like, again, providing more and more features. And I think it's a matter of, like, again, the next need, or like, again, a matter of growing importance as well, where people are looking for those AI-based features. And yeah, we are continuously working on more and more features, right? Providing more and more AI-based features. So yeah, I think that was some of the few of the questions which I wanted to know from a test management standpoint. And yeah, I think now what I'll do is, again, for all the attendees as well, I'll give you a quick glimpse of what is the BrowserStack test management platform, how does it looks like, and what are the different features that are available as a part of the BrowserStack test management platform. So just let me know if the screen is visible. Yeah, I think it's visible. Cool. So yeah, the BrowserStack test management platform, and as the name only suggests, it's a one-stop platform which can help you out with your all test case management needs, whether we are talking about creating test cases, managing test cases, tracking your existing test cases or test runs, right? So it's a one-stop platform which would match all those use cases, right? Now, in order to get started with it, what you can do is you can directly head over to test-management.browserstack.com. And yeah, from a switching standpoint, again, it's very super easy. Like, in case if you already have existing test cases available as a part of third-party tools or as a part of your CSV files or whatever different platforms that you're using from a test management standpoint, you can import the test cases. You can import your existing projects. We have importing functionality available from, in case if you are using TestRail, X-Ray or Zephyr Scale, you can import all the projects directly from there. Or again, as a first step, you can create a new project itself. And once you create a project, you will have the flexibility of importing the test cases, or you can directly go ahead and create new test cases as well. I'll quickly import some of the existing test cases via CSV file. And yeah, so once you click on proceed, now comes in a smart, again, a field to field mapping functionality where all the fields that are available as a part of your CSV file will automatically be mapped to the most relevant field, which is again supported or compatible on the BrowserStack test management platform. For example, test case ID being mapped to case ID, title being mapped to title. And in case if you want to make the edits, you can make the necessary edits directly from the platform itself in terms of switching these fields, right? Once you click on proceed, and there will be a glimpse of all the test cases that will be imported, and you can import the test cases. So it will take a few seconds based on the number of test cases that are available. And yeah, once this is done, we'll continue. Yeah. So as you can see, all the test cases are imported. Again, from a test case creation standpoint, you can directly go ahead and create a test case, right? You can, from a again, from a detailing standpoint, we provide a bunch of different inputs, title, like for example, sample, Gmail, login, test. So yeah, this is a sample title test case. Now we have a smart AI-based feature which creates test steps for you. So you can directly click on this button and it would automatically create the best suitable inputs for all the different fields, the preconditions, what should be the description, what should be the test steps. So in order to generate all these inputs, it will take a few seconds. But yeah, again, we have two different template mechanisms. We have a text-based template and we have a step-based template based on how you want to define your test cases to improve your overall experience and to improve that overall perceptibility of the test cases, right? So as you can see, it has provide a very brief description of like individual steps, like opening a web browser, what should be the expected results, or navigating to the website, how should the page load successfully, right? And again, all the relevant steps are generated automatically, right? Now, again, from a formatting standpoint, you can add images, you can add code snippets, right? You can also, again, add relevant test case fields. Who is the owner of the test case? How is the priority? Whether it should be, again, you can map it to the relevant priority. You can add tags, for example, if test case belongs to regression runs, smoke runs, so you can add the relevant tags to it. And then we also have a two-way Jira binding. So you can link your existing test cases with Jira tickets. So I'll link this with one of the Jira tickets and I'll click on create. So once I create, the test case will be available to you. But yeah, all the existing test case based on how their folder structure is defined, they would be visible to you as well, right? So once I click on this, you would see the Jira mapping over here. And once we open the Jira mapping, so yeah, we have a two-way Jira binding that goes along with the BrowserStack test management and the Jira platform. And once you have the necessary integrations done from a BrowserStack side, you will be able to see all the relevant test cases that are linked to a Jira ticket directly on the Jira platform itself. So if someone who's responsible for managing those Jira tickets, they can directly go to the test management platform via these required links. Right. Now, yeah, this was around a quick glance around test cases, creating test cases or importing test cases. Similarly, you can directly go ahead and create test runs as well. You can select different test cases as a part of those test runs. For example, if I select this usability or transaction-based test cases and I click on save, you can select in the configurations with basically what are the different browser OS combinations on which you want to launch the test on. And once I select this, and I'll go ahead and create a run. So a run is created for you. Now, as a part of these runs, you can see individual test cases being mapped to individual configurations. And if you click on this, you will have a test on a real device functionality where once you click on this link, there will be a real device that will be allocated to you where you can directly go ahead and have your manual test case execution done. And yeah, it's a real device getting allocated based upon from the nearest data center. So it will take a few seconds to allocate the most appropriate device. Once you have executed with the session, for example, login functionality, going to the Gmail, entering username, entering password, and performing the login. Once you're done, you can click on stop session, head back to the BrowserStack test management platform, and whatever the status is, right? Whatever the result is, for example, the test was passed or failed, you can directly add the results over here, right? For example, the test got failed, you can add in field, you can provide in appropriate details, and you can also directly link it with Jira as well. So from a bug tracking standpoint, we have integration with Jira and Azure at the moment. And yeah, you can link it with Jira or Azure. Jira or Azure tickets, right? And at the end, like once it is passed, once it is failed, you can see the progress of the test run as well. And once the whole test run execution is done, you can directly go ahead and close the test run as well. Right. So that was a quick glance around test runs. Similarly, we have test plans where it's something similar to a sprint. And as a part of the sprint, you directly go ahead and want certain runs to be executed as a part of those sprints. So yeah, you can create your test plans, add runs to them, and make sure that those runs are completed as a part of those sprints. So something which can help you plan better in terms of what are the different scenarios you want to test. And similarly, we have a reporting feature which will help you generate test run summary and test run detailed report. So this is how a sample report looks like. For example, the test run summary report, the total test case executed, the total test cases that are available, test case breakup, test runs breakup, and test run across top assignees, right? Similarly, we have a test run detailed report as well, and you can schedule those reports or download these reports. And from a like a managerial point of view, we also have this dashboard page which provides you necessary insights around your overall project at the details at the project level. For example, active test runs, closed test runs, results from the closed test run. How does the categorization looks like based on the timelines? And automation coverage statistics, what are the automated test cases, manual test cases, different types of test cases. So yeah, that was a quick glance around the BrowserStack test management platform. And so yeah, that was the bit that where we talked about test management, importance of test management, and yeah, how important is the test management, how important test management is from a software delivery standpoint. So yeah, the next aspect that we'll be talking about again, efficient debugging aspects. And yeah, so yeah, I think we'll continue our conversation with Greg. So welcome back, Greg. So yeah, I think my next question to you is, again, what what role do engineering metrics play in fostering a culture of like a continuous involvement across software delivery, right? And what are some of the key indicators or metrics which make you aware about or which help you assess the overall health of your test suite? If you can throw some light on that.
Yeah. So most is going to expect that I'll say test coverage, the amount of defects, what criticality that defect is. Now, part of the ones I really like to keep my eye on, and it's a little bit out of left field, is the velocity of the teams and how close they get from completing the sprints and how good their estimations are. Because a good quality piece of software, you know exactly how it's going to react. You know exactly how to follow it through from start throughout the software development life cycle. And the key of that is good quality from the beginning right through to the deployment. So what I've generally noticed is, and again, I'm very long in the tooth here, good established teams know how to estimate correctly on the complexity, on the risk, and they take all these things into account and call them out, dive into it, and they'll know exactly how to get there through knowledge, asking the right questions at the right time to find out what's going on. And if there is a risk, they will ask them questions and push back where needed to, and be very quality proactive. Now, for me, that is a good sign of a good quality software. A good quality team will develop good quality software, remove that complexity, remove those dependencies, those things that trip you up at the last minute when something like your pre-prod environment isn't exactly the same as your prod environment. It catches you out. I'm not going to say it's going to be perfect 100% of the time, but more than likely, if you can correctly estimate on a consistent level, not every time, but that normally, to me, is an indicator of a team that knows their application, but an application of good quality moving from the ground up.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Greg. Yeah, I think what you said is something which is need of the hour as well, which is focusing on the quality aspect of the test suits as well. It's not just about quantity, it's more about quality as well. So yeah, I think on again, in the continuity of the previous question itself, like what sort of strategies do you employ again within your current automation cycle? Like what are the strategies you employ to measure the effectiveness of your effectiveness and like efficiency of your automated test? And if you can throw some light on what are the different tools and technologies
Yes.
which you
Yes.
use?
So as I mentioned earlier, when we aligned to basically standardize it across everywhere, we took the view of like, let's go back to ground zero. And it was very tempting to go automate. Now, for us, one of the things obviously is cost. We want to know at what return we're going to get on effort for automated tests and where we can do it. So we used a lot of things like the test observability tool in BrowserStack with the dashboards and everything, whilst running manual testing. We were able to see where we were seeing defect listings, where we were able to see where those weak areas, I think I alluded to earlier, where we'd have to sort of stabilize things, pop things up and add more effort in. And work out those critical paths there. So we would work out critical paths which are financially impacting, which are detrimental to our main user stories, user paths, and then automate around those areas. So we got that security at the beginning. But then once we started iterating on these and moving forward, we'd be able to see what was flakiness of tests. And again, this is where that AI part came in before. We could use that analysis there to be able to pinpoint what problems are and really using that to visualize where our weaknesses are and getting these sort of tools into our CI/CD pipelines and being able to visualize in real time. Again, everyone's seeing the same information at the same time. The SREs being able to watch our dashboards and being able to see, again, all in the same instance where this is on our test automation part of BrowserStack, where we can see the network log at the same time as seeing what requests are being sent and seeing the logs very easy without having to switch to New Relic, which we still have on, but if we needed to, one person could do a lot of debugging in that than one places. And then we'd have the historical data. We're using things like the page speed analyzer now, which comes as part of BrowserStack Connected, to sort of track our performance over time across our releases to ensure there's no degradation, whether we're seeing any spikes that are uncommon. Like I say, things that know their applications well, we'll know when there's a spike that's not expected and be able to react and be proactive in that operation. And realistically, they're really only, it sounds, that was quite a lot, but once you break it down, you don't want to overload where you've got all too many different dashboards. Once you've got it configured right with the right data that you know that you want to see, the analyzing and the visualization is fairly easy there. And when you've got the right tools there, don't go overkill. Just get what you need, and you'll be able to see that moving forward. And of course, as you refine, you see the reports back of increasing bugs over time, how many bugs were raised, etc. You'll be able to move and get forward on that. But in a way, you've got to have a good balance of both the long-term strategy and the immediate, hey, I need to know what's going wrong right now sort of thing. That's what we use in here. And I think over time will change. I don't think it's you can never stay static in these things as we bring on new technologies and everything. We want to get better insight in those areas, and we'll change our tooling to reflect that. But yeah, I think the main thing is to know what you want and what you need to be able to analyze.
Awesome. So, yeah, I think with that, that summarizes the importance of, again, the test observability, like how important it is to work upon the quality instead of just the quantity, right? So yeah, I think for all the attendees, what we were talking about, what Greg was highlighting about was the BrowserStack test observability tool, and again, certain features which I'll be again showcasing them as well in this particular call. So yeah, thank you so much, Greg, for answering that question. And what I'll do now is I'll quickly give you a quick glimpse of the BrowserStack test observability tool, and what are the different features which can help you out in that quality debugging, which in other words, again, efficient debugging, right? So I'll quickly share my screen again, and let me know once the screen is visible. So awesome. So yeah, the BrowserStack test observability tool, it's a tool which not just help you out in terms of your reporting needs, but again, from a debugging needs standpoint. And when I say debugging, it's efficient debugging, right? When I say efficient debugging is because, again, as a part of new releases, there are many builds that are triggered, and as a part of individual builds, there are altogether like hundreds of sessions that are executed, right? Now, again, out of those hundreds of test cases, many, like a good chunk of them would be failing as well, right? Now, it becomes a huge overhead to just go ahead and start debugging them one by one, right? Because most of the failures that are there are not even genuine failures. It's like just noisy failures, right? So what test observability do is it presents to you on the plate what exactly you want to work upon, right? For example, when I say in terms of identifying genuine errors from the noisy ones, we automatically identify if there are any particular failed test cases which are flaky ones, or the test cases which failed for the very first time, right? And we also provide to you the test cases which are always failing. Like, again, these are just few of them. There's a lot more that the product offers in terms of insight. So yeah, it helps you identify those genuine errors, right? Or those genuine areas where you need to focus upon, right? Talking about few of its features, again, what the one I mentioned, which is the smart tagging system, where we automatically classify a test case as a flaky test case, or an always failing test case, or the test case which failed for the very first time, right? Then we have, again, individual logs for individual test cases, and not just for a particular session. You can have that log comparison for previous, like how did that test case perform for the previous builds as well. So something in the domain of pattern detection, where you want to identify like where exactly the test case started failing, and what exactly happened, right? So in terms of pattern detection, which again helps you in terms of your debugging journey. The last but not the least is the insights, the kind of insights that the tool provides, right? Now, in order to get started, you can head over to observability.browserstack.com. Right, on the homepage itself, you will be finding some key insights based on, again, the data, key takeaways in the last 7 days. What were the overall time savings? How does the performance, how does the stability trends look like? How does the unique test execution trend look like? What were the overall new failures observed? So again, some high level insights which are very necessary from a whole automation. If someone wants to get an idea around their overall automation setup, so they can directly get these insights from over here. Right now, again, these are the different projects, and as a part of projects, there are different build runs which you can find over here. So there are three different kinds of builds over here. One is an API test, end-to-end sanity, and end-to-end regression one. And as you can see on the screen, in the individual builds itself, we provide you the proper data around that. Okay, what were the total number of passed test case? What were the number of failed test case? What was the overall duration of the build? What were the flaky ones that were observed? What were the new failures? Number of always failing tests, right? And how does the categorization looks across based on these different failure categories? Now, if you click on this, right, there will be an insights dashboard which provides you insights around what are the flaky ones, what are the new failures, what were the always failing, and you can anyways click on any particular field to get those specific test cases. For example, if I click on the flaky ones, you would be presented with the overall flaky test cases that were observed, right? I'll head back to the insights, and then comes in the unique errors section, which basically shows you the overall unique errors that were observed within the whole build execution. So there was assertion failed, there was timed out issue, and the different test cases across which this error was observed. Right now, how is this helpful is in basically if the team decides to focus upon just the top two unique errors itself, which is 50 plus 35, right? You will be directly resolving 81% of the failures by just solving two main problems, right? So these platforms, these insights helps you make those intelligent decision in terms of like, okay, what should be your next step in making your whole automation suite stable, right? So yeah, this unique error insights can be totally helpful in those areas. Then if you want to know about how does the overall build stability trends look like, how does the overall failure categories, how does the test case distribution across failure categories look like? Now, this is a smart AI-based tagging system where there are certain default categories. For example, if an issue falls in the to be investigated, or whether it falls as an automation bug or an environment issue, right? You can definitely create failure categories of your own. And again, in the beginning, you will have to like, again, make the appropriate mapping to the failed test cases. But as and when you execute more and more builds, the model will keep on getting trained, and again, it would start automatically assigning the appropriate failure category to the failed test cases, as in when you run more and more builds, right? So yeah, then if you want to specifically focus upon just a specific failure category, you can work with the specific failure category itself. And then yeah, failure categories based on folder structures, and how does the stability alerts look like, and the build history looks like, right? How did the previous builds perform for the same end-to-end regression bit, right? So yeah, based on how does the graph analytics look like, you can monitor the trend and make the next decision accordingly. Then if you want to deep dive into individual test, you can move to the test section. You can, as you can see over here, this is if you click on this, you would be presented with the logs. There will be a video log. There are a bunch of other logs as well, which you can find over here. You can, again, get to know like, okay, where exactly it is failing, right? Now, if you want to have a comparison, you can have that log comparison for the previous builds as well. So yeah, again, in case if you want to deep dive into individual test cases, you can deep dive directly in this test section itself. So apart from that, again, lots of other insights that will be available to you. The test health insights, how does the overall test health trends look like, the failed execution count, the average duration, how does the average duration look like, average failure rate look like. And again, not just for 1 day, 7 day, you can customize the timeline accordingly. You want to have insights from a 30-day standpoint, 6 month standpoint, or of one of your custom timelines, right? How does the test performance look like based on the whole timeline data, right? So this test failed 231 after 231 times, which is basically failing 100% of the time. So with the average duration of 0.28 seconds. Similarly, you have insights around how does the overall unique error trend look like. Now the overall unique errors, how many tests it impact, what is the overall error count, right? So yeah, again, making those decisions in terms of what should be your next focus point. And the very important aspect is the testing trend dashboard, where you will have, again, latest unique builds, a lot, individual, again, overall project level statistics or overall project level trends. How do they look like, right? The flakiness, how does the flakiness trends look like? How does the stability trends look like for individual, like for all the builds or individual builds, if you want to focus upon, right? How does the performance metrics look like, or how does the performance trends looks like? How does the failure category trends look like across the timeline? And how does the always failing trend look like? Unique test cases trend look like? Build run summary, test execution, device and browser coverage. So yeah, from a project level insights, you can directly get it from the testing trend section. And yeah, these dashboards also prove a very effective mechanism from a managerial point of view. Again, to have that first-hand glance to get an overall understanding. One of the important aspects of this tool is this dashboard page as well, where you can create customized dashboard for your like if you want to get an overall idea around, including all the projects, like the overall data insights, right? So we have multiple widgets. You can customize the dashboard and add the widgets based upon your choice: summary, build summary, stability, right? And yeah, flakiness, customize component summary. So we have multiple widgets which you can add or remove from your dashboard, right? So this is one of the sample dashboard which almost includes many of the widgets. The stability, how does the stability trends looks like across teams? Similarly, flakiness looks like across different modules. Build performance, always failing trends, new failure trends, new failure samples, track browser, test execution. So yeah, lots and lots of insights. Component summary based on modules, component summary based on samples, right? Platforms coverage, stability test, failure category, top unstable test. So yeah, and again, you can customize the dashboard according to your needs. You can keep it to like all the project level, individual project level. You can apply a bunch of different filters to it. So yeah, it's dashboard, again, just to reiterate on the point, it's a dashboard which can provides you those insights, which can provides you genuine failures from just the noisy ones, which the team can focus upon. And again, it helps you in terms of your reporting needs as well. So that was a quick glance on the test observability. Yeah, I think that is what those were a few of the questions from a test observability standpoint. And again, thank you so much, Greg, for answering all those questions. I have one last question. Nazreen, if you can please share the screen. Yeah, so I have one last question, which goes like, again, how do you basically ensure that your automation setup or the efforts that you are putting in to your automation testing aligns with your organization's overall quality goals and objectives? And yeah, how do you set teams
Yeah,
set team level objectives and goals? Yeah, please go ahead.
yeah. So quite simply, I don't overcomplicate things again. We don't want any P1, P2 bugs going into production. We would much rather see them found earlier within the life cycle. Don't get me wrong, I don't expect to see zero defects found throughout the whole software life cycle. That'll probably concern me more than anything else. So I really just focus on, hey, look, the automation's there to catch these bugs in a shift left sort of mentality. If we can do these, and also we don't want to be creating automation which basically costs us more than manual testing. So we want to make sure that we are getting bang for our buck on automation. Automation's there to save us time. So we want to make sure we are reducing the time to prod through our automation testing. But also we want to make sure we're not having to spend time in our life cycle maintaining, updating our test automation suite. So it's got to be scalable and very robust there, and have those standards across the whole of our footprint. So we don't want to have a highly maintainable test framework in one section of our business and a completely different one here. So it's going to be standardization, code reuse, putting into our standards. And those are our main real areas. It's down to cost maintenance and zero defect releases, really.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Greg, for answering that one. So yeah, I think these were the particular set of questions that we had for this fireside chat event. And again, very thankful. The whole BrowserStack team is very thankful for you to taking the time to answer those questions. We genuinely appreciate you attending this fireside chat event. I hope it was super fun and it was super informative as well. And looking forward to see you in the next webinar. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.